Welcome back to the Money Hill, your number one Call of Duty podcast with a betting focus, taking you through all the matches and majors of the 2022 CDL season. And speaking of majors, we've got one coming up, baby. Major 3 in Toronto, Canada. The Toronto Ultra home major, actually. My name, of course, is Scoots. I'm back with Nikita and Chris. We have a wonderful episode planned for you guys today. I'm going to take these off because I can't see my monitor and let these guys
So why did you put them on? I thought there was going to be a larger bit associated with this.
Yeah, I thought there was a joke involved.
I think I'm seeing Top Gun this week.
Night.
No, it just looks good.
I saw it yesterday as well. No, I saw it 2 days ago. Amazing. Yeah. It was so good.
It was sweet. There was definitely.
I am here to absolutely promote.
The third act particularly just worked really well.
The only thing that didn't make a ton of sense was the very, very first scene. Like I understood the point of it, but it wasn't like that integrally important. To the rest of the show.
I felt like it was a bit of an homage to the right one. Yeah.
But I loved it. So many action shots, so much flying, and the flying's the most interesting part, right? So to get all those kind of shots. Yeah, it was
nice little homoerotic scene around halfway
Only
through.
One. You had to have one.
But not too much, so it was a nice again another homage to the volleyball scene.
And I appreciate
but a modern one.
I won't watch a movie without one.
Well, good news. They tried to make sure there was plenty of diversity in all the homoeroticisms.
Yes,
so.
yeah. Tom Cruise doesn't miss. Honestly, the last Mission Impossible was incredible.
Was it? I haven't seen it.
Oh, it's the best.
Is that Ghost Protocol?
There's one after that.
What was it called? The final act of that is actually one of the best I've ever seen because of the way that they weave everything together. It's Fallout. Because there's 3 different things happening in different locations with different tempos, and yet they manage to weave between in a way that allows the audience to kind of reset, but then keep the tension up, masterclass in action.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we had week 3 of Major 3, and we've spent 2 minutes and 20 seconds talking about Tom Cruise.
What was the last time we were on? We were talking about
It was the fucking video game that you guys used to play as kids.
Oh man, what a great game!
Yeah. But was Top Gun as good and as action packed as that last series between LA Thieves and Florida Mutineers? That really mattered and wasn't an absolute throw. I mean, I'm actually so fucking pissed about this and how this hasn't just been resolved at this.
I mean,
tell me more.
They've made so many rules to avoid tiebreakers, right? And yet we still end up with a tiebreaker. And then you have teams throwing so that they don't have to play OpTic. Now, if I'm Minnesota, I'm like, fuck you guys.
Yeah.
I'm about to wipe the floor with you. But I also get trying to avoid OpTic, especially in the state that they're in.
I mean,
I don't know. I don't know if Minnesota's a better team to go up against. Because honestly, right now, I think I have Minnesota ranked above OpTic.
Yeah. They're above OpTic. They're above
they're following
or Faze. They're above. Yeah. They're the number one team.
They're following my plan to par right now, which is win 5 matches, lose in the upper bracket, get heartbroken in the lower bracket, and then win Major 4.
Why would they wait?
This is it's going to take a lot for Thieves to beat them.
Honestly, we're coming into this. I think Rocket's sitting at the top. OpTic, without doubt, is right behind them, then Faze. And then I think Ultra, I hate to say it, but they're actually looking pretty good as well.
Settle down.
With the
I'm the biggest Ultra fan that there is.
It was actually
coming up behind.
Settle down.
And
that was actually Chris's prediction last week, is that Ultra was going to 2-0 and then fall off the face of the earth come their major.
It's all going according to plan.
We'll see if that comes true this week.
They did 2-0.
There's a lot of storylines at work here, and if both teams win in the upper bracket, we're both fucked. So, listen. It was a pretty good week all in all. I mean, I don't think Ultra played anyone crazy this week. They handled business. They went 3-0, 3-1, but it was Royal Ravens in Paris.
And it wasn't a bounty week, so Team Paris wasn't really trying to win. They just were like, "Hey, we're here.
Fair.
Whatever. It's just a match."
No, you're right, but I mean, Thieves in all their winning ways were really trying to win that tiebreaker by bringing out the Tommy gun and snipers on Bocage. Yeah, no, that definitely was a real game. Can they even be mad? Because they started this whole rule set on like, hey, we're going to avoid tiebreakers completely. And then they, in their own analyst desk, put like on the screen, maybe throw in some team kills for like keys to the match. Like, I don't know. Even the analysts were like, yeah, you should probably avoid OpTic. I still think, listen, I mean, Minnesota had a really good stage. I don't think they're the best team right now. I still think it's OpTic. Like,
sure,
Minnesota
they beat.
Didn't beat anyone crazy. Let's be very clear. They beat
3-0 as well.
Okay, they beat Faze. They wiped Faze. Sorry.
OpTic didn't.
We should probably consider that.
OpTic didn't.
We should probably consider that.
They beat them 3-1.
And OpTic, but they didn't beat them 3-0, and they also lost to the Subliners 3-1. So,
but Nikki, they beat them 3.
The loss to the Subliners, I think, is better than anything
3-1 during a bounty match. So they were really trying to get the 10K.
Yeah, it's true. They were trying their hardest. But maybe Faze wasn't trying so hard against ROKKR.
Yeah, Faze was trying their hardest.
Getting a bounty.
That's my point.
Yeah.
Correct.
Because there wasn't 10K on the line.
So here's the question. Is illey back?
Ooh,
yeah, so how can you put OpTic above the team that...
I think Scump already hinted at... Dude, because they're the same team, honestly.
So they lost 3-0, and they're still the same team. I think, honestly, this is the downfall
they
of
lost
OpTic.
3-1.
This is the end of OpTic.
They're Tuscan
They were
control.
overrated. They coasted on their good looks.
That's actually just a crazy fucking
now
take.
it's time for it.
That's true. They know that there's a bet.
I think the loss to the Subliners is very, very big going into this major. I actually... Yeah, because they bounced back off of that and beat an LA Thieves team that needs to win that match. OpTic didn't need to fucking
they slapped
win.
them. They slapped them.
They dominated. They fucking smoked
I honestly
them.
think, though, that like everyone just loves beating the piss out of the Thieves. Like, I think it's honestly maybe they're...
because it's so good for the story. It's an easy tweet, too.
I think everyone loves beating the piss out of the fucking Thieves.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I'm here to... I love watching it.
I'm not
I
thrilled
love
about
watching it. Oh.
You know who Thieves loved beating the piss out of this week, Chris?
They loved beating the piss out of the Boston Breach.
Yeah.
3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. What's going on there? Because
you know what?
Dead man walking.
You think they're dead? I still think they are like...
7th.
I still think they are sitting at that location where it's like, hey, if you beat us, you're considered in the good teams, right? Like the top half. I still think they're just sitting there, but now it's like instead of being 4th, that's moved down to like 6th because we have more teams that are like competing. So it's like
right now they're
average.
9th.
Seattle Surge. I'm getting excited. Last week I admitted that I've secretly been a fan ever since the start, and they keep winning, and now it's gone from like 1 week to 2 weeks, and I'm like, oh shit, are they gonna win the major? No, but
I mean, underwater teams in the CDL
underwater teams
are just here to here to betray you. Like if the theme is aquatic at all, you're about to get fucking. I love this.
You're
team.
about to get waterboarded.
Bombs away.
Like that's what happened. It's a secret waterboarding. They're like, hey, come to this fan meet, and you turn up, and there's just towels and gallon jugs of water.
I like that's what it feels like. I mean, listen, banger tweet from the main account. I don't know who made it, who made the infographic, but if Florida wins, don't bet Florida. Bet the opponent. Florida loses, bet Florida. That's how it's going to go the entire year. I think you would have made an ass load of money if you followed that strategy, to be honest. But like, Surge falls in the same category for me, and they're like playing fairly consistent right now. And I honestly feel like I'm about to just be.
You will absolutely be betrayed by it. They are the team, along with Florida, along with Thieves too. By the way, like if they win, absolutely fade the shit out of them. They beat Boston Breach 3-0, then get beat. Now again, it's an OpTic Texas team, but 3-0, like right back to back. Like, and I understand, like you're saying they want to throw their match against Florida. I would hope, and maybe this is me being optimistic, that they would have some sort of competitive integrity inside and be like have some level of internal confidence that they might be able to win a fucking match against a good team. But look, when you're on OpTic's team, that doesn't exist. I get it. So to me, LA Thieves are also like the same exact team as like in Scoot. You appropriately called them the LA Thieves of the new LA Thieves or the new Mutineers last week. So.
It honestly may be more drastic though, because it's like, yeah, we're the best team in the game, and then we are just not good. at all. Which it comes out of nowhere too, and now it's Envoy who's not putting up kills in games, and maybe that has to do with like moving Kenny around or whatever. But I don't even know where the focal point of like them having problems is, and we've tried to flush that out throughout the entire season. But I don't think there really is a true way to do it. Coming back to the same
thing. I think it's
they did add another coach.
You have individual.
You guys
players.
act like we don't know the answer. The answer is the same that it's been this year as it was last year as it is previous years.
Monsieur
we don't need to
Octane?
circle around it.
Monsieur Octane?
It's fucking
Spell it out.
OCTANE.
I was so I could say OCTAIN.
Like, we don't need to fucking beat around the bush. We know the problem. It's going to keep being a problem.
No, but except it hasn't been.
I mean, I know where you
really
we know where you
been.
stand on it. He's been. I mean, dude, he started off the one match like
he's
29
been performing. Like he's putting the numbers up. The team chemistry seems great. There's nothing in the videos to show that they're having toxic. Like you could see when they were on the surge.
This is a good
that they were
step.
not doing well.
Nikita, you love to reference my favorite podcaster, Bill Simmons.
Sure.
And in a lot of his podcasts, he has a whole theme called "Good Stats, Bad Team," right?
Sure.
And that is Octane. Great stats, but he's not a team player. He doesn't make his team better, and they don't win. Will they look great at moments? Of course. They'll win games. They'll go 3-0 against the Boston Breach. But when it comes down to actually fucking winning something, they're not going to do it.
Except
And
I think
we're definitely not counting a fucking Mickey Mouse.
It's a great saying, but LA Thieves have good players.
That's what makes it even better. That's what makes it
so
even more
to
true.
me, it doesn't actually make
Good
sense.
stats,
It's
bad
like
teammate.
if they were playing individually and getting individual like score lines, fine. But this is just something is not working with the way they're approaching the game. I would say.
Have you guys looked through their stage like holistically? Because it's actually the craziest thing I've ever seen. It's a 3-0 win against the Ravens, an 0-3 loss against the ROKKR, an 0-3 loss against the
3-0 win
Surge.
against the Breach.
3-0 win against the Breach, and then an 0-3 loss against OpTic Texas. Like, there's not a single...
They're on a schedule.
It's very binary. It's very binary.
I appreciate it. If they're gonna win a match, they don't drag it out.
Yeah, they do. They do now have to win 3-0.
They're like, let's just get this over with quickly. Fuck these 5-game series. Like
right.
I'm on a schedule.
Get the fuck
I gotta go
we
shoot some content.
The people
I've got some
watching have
hoodies I've
shit
got
to
to print
do.
because since I'm not winning, Nadeshot has made me work in the factory.
Yep.
That's
gotta recoup that money somehow.
Well, no, here's my biggest issue with all of it, right? And it's a clip that's like resurfaced a couple times now in like the wake of them throwing that match, right? And it's that like it's this clip of Nadeshot on whatever the big 100 Thieves podcast is about esports. But it's him talking about how like if you don't want to win every match, like you shouldn't be playing professional COD. And it's right on the back of them throwing this match against Florida, and also like a clear lack of belief that they can beat OpTic Texas after that 0-3 fucking
They know they can't beat
it might be the smart move to stay away from playing them again after you just got slapped around, but like it just isn't a good look at the end of the day.
Unfortunately, they still have to play him if they want to win.
We've talked about Thieves enough. That's the thing. Like you're gonna have to go through them at some point. I guarantee it. So like, why avoid it now? If you really think you can win this major and you really believe in your team, you nut up, you grab your fucking
it's the
sack,
hardest road,
and you beat the shit out of Florida.
And by the way, now OpTic Texas is so in your fucking head that they own it, living there rent free, and they can just literally just shit on you whenever they want, and they're just gonna be like, "Hey, LA, let us know when you're actually ready to play." I would, if you're them, you're talking so much shit.
Yeah.
You just talk so much shit. It'd be so good.
Hey, I mean, listen, Dashy did during the match tweet out the Joe Burrow gif of him in the locker room smoking the cigar as a little message on that end. But yeah, I mean, Chris, some people are into that kind of play, so don't kink shame on the podcast, please.
I think, look, at the end of the day, LA Thieves just haven't turned up this year. This team is not working for whatever reason. That's it.
If you're Nadeshot,
it's kind of. I don't think there's anything more or anything less than that.
Like if you're Nadeshot, right? Like, are you firing everyone for that embarrassment?
I think so.
I don't know.
I think
what
at the end of the
like,
year, you need to rebuild because, and this is what I'm talking about because they did that. They changed roster many times last year. This year, they're sticking with it. I understand because it's like it's a bit of an overcorrection. I think it's clearly not working. But the problem is that I don't agree this is an Octane issue because if you took
because you don't want to see the facts, I get it.
No, it's not that. It's just that I think the other players aren't stepping up in the right. I just don't think they're playing well and together. Whether it's him, or even if the problem is that let's say it's him and I take him out, I still have problems with the rest of the team. And so I think you need to start from scratch with the staff.
Chris, is the call to replace Octane with Mohawk? Is that?
I mean, I would love that, but I would replace him with anyone. I think the minute you replace him, the team starts performing.
That's an interesting take.
What would be great is everyone will be like, no, it's not Octane, and it's just going to be so embarrassing for him. It'd be great. I would enjoy it. But I would love to see Mohawk in there. Fuck yeah. I think, by the way,
listen, I love Mohawk, but I also don't think it's an Octane.
Mohawk,
Nikki on this
that is a LA Thieves jersey waiting to be developed and sold.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, it would be sick.
Good. The amount of content, the amount of content they
K.
can make with that is just too easy.
Yeah, it would be awesome. One team I do want to talk about, and they had kind of a weird stage across the board. They beat some good teams, lost to some bad teams. It was all over the place, but at the end of the day, the gameplay looked pretty consistent, and I honestly still think they're very good. New York Subliners. What are our thoughts to that end?
Had to.
I mean, you had to know because we've pretty much talked about everything else. Like,
I think they're good. To me, there's not really.
Think they're good?
I think they are good. I don't know how I don't put them over a ROKKR who has consistently performed the whole qualifiers. I have OpTic after ROKKR and Faze, just again because out of consistency from their performance the whole year. Obviously, Subliners just beat OpTic, so in theory, we've already seen them match up against them. It's a qualifier. There wasn't that much on the line. I think there's a lot more to prove for Subliners than there is for OpTic. So I think that's not necessarily the OpTic we're going to see in the major. But I have them in basically fourth place.
Scoot, let me get your take.
With Ultra.
What happened against OpTic?
What do you mean?
OpTic loses.
The 3-1? So I think, the actual way I pit this match is in context with the Toronto Ultra series, and it went 5. It was a pretty interesting match, and I pulled a lot away from both teams on that end. Like, I thought Ultra did look better playing Subliners, but almost like the intensity wasn't there to the point where it was in the OpTic series, and I think OpTic also needed a wake-up call to a certain extent. Like, they were in cruise control a little bit this stage. I mean, I don't know, like they beat Faze, and I feel like they're just kind of swinging their dicks around at that point, and then they walk into the Subliner series, and it's almost like, hey, granted, like we should win this. And I think Subliners took advantage of that and played to the level that they can and brought the intensity that they were maybe lacking a little bit in the Ultra series. So like I think it was two ends colliding at the right time to where like OpTic lost, and also like Subliners just played well. I mean, they smoked them. There's nothing really to say about it. Even like map 4 where OpTic almost came back, it was too much of a deficit that Subliners had created in the Tuscan hardpoint to like really actually feasibly come back from that, because you can't hold P1 like crazy. It would have had to be it would have been the most insane Tuscan P1 hold of the entire season to get to that point. And it almost happened, but like they built up their lead and they took advantage of it late, and that's just good play. Like that's just how you're gonna play. OpTic just slow started pretty much every map, honestly.
Yeah,
it was bizarre.
I find really this Subliners team to be so perplexing, right? Because if you look at the teams that they played this split, they had a brutal fucking road. They played Atlanta Faze and lost. They played the Breach and won. Played OpTic and won. Now played Paris, whatever. Of course you're gonna win that. But they also played Ultra. Like they kind of played a gauntlet there and ended up 3-2. And so, to me, that, especially with their coming off of their performance and success at the Pro-Am, I mean, again, I'm not counting that tournament as fucking shit. But
of course not.
to play Ultra, to play OpTic, to play Breach, and to play Faze, and end up 2-2, I think that that's a fucking hell of a little group stage there for them.
Yeah.
And for them to end that, they're in 6th place, but they're going to be going up this weekend for the first match against the Seattle Surge. Like, I think New York has earned the right to be favorites in that match, and they are favorites. They're 1.57, which is great. Them at -1.5 is 2.23. The Surge, on the other hand, they played against Mutineers and won, but that was after obviously Mutineers had won the previous match, so of course they were going to lose that. Right. Raven, not impressive. LA Thieves, not impressive. And Paris, not impressive. And then they lost to Ultra. So to me, Nikki, despite your appreciation and love for the aquatic teams of the CDL,
yeah,
I love betting on New York, and I've been really impressed by New York. Seattle, great job coming back, but just not quite as the strength of schedule wasn't there for me, and so I think that the sportsbook have this right.
Yeah, I think spoiler alert.
I would agree with that. I think
Subliners to beat Surge, but they got me excited.
Yeah, we'll hop into the matches in just a second. I think the one thing that sticks out to me, and to your point, Chris, is in a game that is extremely inconsistent in every way it plays, and you have matches where, the Boston Breach Florida Mutineers series where TJ Haley had a glide bomb and the game paused on round 11, map 5, and they didn't give it back to him for some reason because there's not a good enough feature in the game to reward kill streaks post restart.
Somehow.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. But like in a game that is so inconsistent in the way it plays just across the board, to find consistency is something that can be extremely dangerous. And I honestly think they found it like above the level that Breach had.
Look at Faze. Faze is the perfect
is
example of what a team can do when they're consistent. They're sitting, for whatever we want to say about them, if you look at the standings, they're sitting at the top.
What I do think is,
I mean, I agree. Like,
I think said differently, the peak of the Subliners, I think, is up there with the very best, right? The Subliners can match and play at a level that is right at the top right now. And you're not seeing a whole lot of their lower end like they were at the beginning of the year. Mm-hmm. I kind of love, and I fucking love this idea, but a little Subliners ROKKR. I don't know if we can do futures, but like as a final, that would be a fucking... I'm sure the odds are insane.
That would have been fun. That would have been really fun. Yeah.
That would be a banger final. I agree. All right. Well, I mean, Chris is chomping at the bit to talk about it at this point. He's referenced the lines.
I can tell you the lines to reach the final, and I can tell you the race.
That's my favorite bet.
Let's hop into the betting odds. Let's get into it. Your first blood. We'll start off with a little bit of futures. We'll talk about the future odds. Chris, throw them at us.
All right,
and let's get into it.
You want me to reach the finals or just outright?
Let's start with finals. Right. We'll talk about it.
So, in last place, Paris Legion at 121.
You can skip the garbage just a little bit and read through them pretty quick.
Let me skip the garbage. Seattle Surge. So basically there's like 6 teams that they think have a chance to reach the final and 6 teams that they don't think have a chance to reach the final. Just to play a little devil's advocate with you guys, I don't know if you've already looked. Have you already looked? Are you looking at it now?
I have not looked, no.
Me. Well, Scoot, this is for you. Who do you think is the one team that they're putting in that don't have a chance? Like, where do you think the break even is right there? Like, what is the gate?
Boston Breach.
No, Boston's fucked. They're not even close.
Okay, well
they don't even have Boston's logo.
Discouraging.
Do they?
I honestly might be asking this in a way that's confusing. But
the
point I'm trying to make is
there's like maybe I'll rephrase.
There's a big break.
No, I think he nailed it. I think he nailed it. I think you asked it.
So here it is, Scoot. LA Thieves at 15.00 to reach the finals. Seattle Surge 6.35. So that is like the big disparity and craziness. Beyond Seattle Surge, you've got Subliners at 3.40, so that is a phenomenal bet, I think, to reach the final.
Yeah.
Ultra at 3.9. I don't love that.
It's interesting to see that rating Ultra above Subliners.
Well, they're not. Weirdly enough, the odds are backwards, but they're not.
Oh yeah, sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
There's no prio on Call of Duty. I'll tell you that much. That's
and then
been
Minnesota,
very clear
Faze,
about
and OpTic are basically all at the same odds: 1.82, 1.82, and then OpTic the very best at 1.65. So you clearly can see your three favorites, and there's like another group of three that they think have like a decent chance, and then there's everybody else.
Yeah.
And you see that to win it. To win it, OpTic you have at 2.95, Faze you have at 3.62. Well,
I
Faze
don't
at
hate
3.62. A team that is.
I
when was
also
the last
don't
time you
hate
saw
that.
Faze to win a major that low? Over 3.
Over 3.
Over 3.
Over
Yeah.
3?
Not
Not
in a million years.
in a million
Crazy.
years.
The same odds as Minnesota.
But I also
They're the same odds as Minnesota.
But they have to beat OpTic together.
No,
I'll tell you what scares me the most. Yeah, one, they have to beat OpTic, which they can't do. The thing that scares me the most is that it doesn't feel like it's their major, and that means that they're gonna fucking show up. Like every time I felt last year, like this isn't Faze's major to win, which was, very few times, obviously, with the level of consistency that they had last year and how dangerous that roster was in Cold War. The times where I felt, Faze may be falling off this stage.
Oh, yeah.
They come back
if you're me,
roaring.
and you have to place 3 bets, if you're like basically trying to optimize, I say you put a unit on Faze, a unit on ROKKR, and a unit on Subliners, and Subliners are 6.94. Those would be the 3 teams I'd put money on.
I think, I would put a little bit on
I
Texas.
think I would go Texas as well.
You got to cover your books a little.
I'm saying like,
that's like still really, really good odds.
Yeah, I would rather
to
put
win,
one on
to be
ROKKR,
honest.
one on Faze, one on ROKKR to win it, and then I would probably go for like, then I'd probably go to look at maybe you go Subliners for finals. To be fair, 3.4 for Subliners in the finals, I think is worth it. Yeah, I would say I'd probably go there.
okay, so you're not saying anything too dissimilar.
I mean,
No, because, and I
so-
think that also, if you look at the bracket, the way that
for-
matches out, you have Faze, Subliners, and ROKKR all. I'm trying to bring up the bracket, but it's being really slow.
the bracket's not working. Don't worry about it.
Oh, it was a second ago.
You know
Okay,
what's
well, I was
insane
trying
to
to figure
look
out.
at
I
here
was trying to
is
remember
LAG
where in the bracket they match up against each other, because basically, I'm pretty sure. Faze and ROKKR will match up against in the second round if Faze wins this match. I think.
It is 1-2 is OpTic ROKKR, so they're on opposite sides of the bracket. 3 is Faze, so yeah, it should be 1-3. Actually, 1-4. So no, it would be OpTic ROKKR at some point, I believe.
So one is ROKKR,
the crazy thing here
2
is that-
OpTic, 3 is Surge, 4 is Ultra, 5 is Faze, 6 is Subliners, 7 Mutineers, 8 Thieves.
Yeah, so you have basically, so if ROKKR and Faze win, which we expect them to, then they match up against each other, and you're
Yes,
yeah,
correct.
and so you're already
then you get
guaranteeing
OpTic
one
Texas
of
and
them.
Seattle Surge.
Yeah, and then you have OpTic Texas and Surge, exactly. No, you have OpTic Texas. I actually
But it
think
could be- it'd be
Mutineers are
OpTic
gonna
Texas
beat. I think Mutineers are
and
going to beat
Subliners.
OpTic, and then you're going to have Mutineers against Subliners.
You guys are forgetting about the LA Thieves gets hot
That's just-
storyline at 15.0 to
I mean,
make a
that is the
final.
wild card.
Are you
That is
feeling
the wild card.
dangerous? Like, it's just a question of how dangerous you're feeling when you open up a said sports book that we're looking at. No free sponsorships.
It's not about feeling dangerous. It's just that's a dumb bet. That narrative, the land narrative, no longer exists.
It always will
It's out.
exist, and it always does exist. Don't ever forget that.
I'm the one who created the narrative.
To this day.
It's dead. It's
Oh yeah, actually
buried.
talking about, by the way, guys, no free shout outs except for Alrata Alada, who is going to be representing us on Friday. He's not actually representing us. He's just going to the major. So
We need
good for
merch.
him. Great time. Yeah.
We do need merch.
Give him a hoodie.
Give
in,
him a
like,
hoodie. Send him
4
to the
days.
major.
We'll get designed, custom printed, all of it.
Go harass people with a microphone. Don't actually do that.
Except if it's good content.
Yeah, I don't know. These odds are all over the place. It is very consolidated at the top. I think you make a very good point there. I still think Texas to win at 2.95. Solid odds there. Faze obviously always should be a favorite to win, especially with the roster they have. 3.62, like that a lot. There's not much else besides that. I still think Thieves could get hot at any point.
All right, well, should we dive into the brackets since we're
discounting
talking
that,
about?
and
So
you get free-
ROKKR Thieves, first matchup.
I do wanna
ROKKR
dive into
1.41,
it, yeah.
Thieves at 2.48. Now, as much as I just don't see Thieves winning this. So 2.48.
I've got Thieves winning
2.48
it.
though on them is good odds. I hate the odds on Minnesota. That's like my biggest struggle at the moment. I actually think I'll do a 3-0 here. 3-0 ROKKR 3.80. You can grab that, and then you can parlay it. You can also grab the minus 1.5 for ROKKR at 2.0. Those are two bets I would take.
Thieves minus 1.5 at 3.85 is sticking out to me. And we know how they win, and we also know how they lose.
What number are you saying?
I'm saying Thieves minus 1.5.
4.20.
Okay, that's better odds
said
than I have.
3-0
on what I'm
ROKKR at
looking
3.8.
But yeah, I would take
and
that all
then
day.
minus 1.5 at 2.0.
Wait, you have minus 2.5 at what's that? At what? 4 point what?
Oh, Jesus Christ, man. I have minus 1.5 at 2.0.
I have it at 2.11.
Okay, so that's better. And then 3.0, I have, I guess you can grab minus 2.5 at 3.8.
I have 4.23.
The point here is just that the floor is opened up for this to go 3-0
And it's
either
going
way.
and it's going the ROKKR.
And we know that
they are
like,
playing so well.
it's not going to go the ROKKR.
definitely
way.
going-
I'm sorry. They're playing very good Call of Duty, but I already have
right.
my predictions in the books. They're going to lose they're
right.
going to lose top bracket. And listen, I think even the match that Thieves threw probably lights a fire under them, so
It
it's a
actually
little
pains
scarier,
me to
honestly,
say
if
that
you're
Thieves
Thieves.
are not going to win. As the one true fan.
Are they gonna place higher than Toronto Ultra at this stage?
Nikki,
This is a little side bet
no,
between
they're
you
actually
two.
not.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They'll both be in the losers bracket though, very quickly. So they could end up placing the exact same. Minnesota ROKKR minus 2.5, dead ass lock at 4.23.
I love that. Love it.
Yeah, dead ass.
I'm on the other side.
And
of
I would
this.
take the minus
Sorry.
1.5 as well.
LA Thieves all the way, baby.
What's your 3-0? Is it the same?
Take me
Prediction.
home.
Usually minus 2.5 is better odds for some
So
reason.
mine are
than
exact
3-0.
same. So
LA Thieves to 3-0, 8.2.
All right.
But we're not going to touch that. That feels dangerous. I've got the minus 1.5. I think they give up a control.
Well,
in
they're
there.
worst at
It's not
search
very
and
good at the
destroy.
game mode currently.
Their worst game mode is S&D.
yeah. All right.
But
Ultra.
they brought on Shane,
Ultra Faze.
so it's fine. New coach. I mean, I'm sorry. For this team to play Faze, one who's had a fairly weak stage and just ready to show up on LAN at their own LAN is just a shame.
Ultra have been playing
It's
well,
unfortunate.
but is this the
when
upset?
you're looking your best?
I could see this being the upset. I like out of all of the matches.
This will not be
I
the
don't think this is
upset.
the
Yeah.
upset.
We're saving
I mean,
that for
look,
the Mutineers.
If it would be a cool storyline. So like for that alone, you maybe put like a small taste on Ultra to win this. Like, could Ultra? It's their very first ever home series tournament. They're at home in front of their fans. We've got our boy there cheering them on. We've got Robert, who wishes he could be there, cheering him on. They got me wishing I could be there, cheering him on. At 2.66 for the
good odds.
money line, it's worth putting a taste on. Now, I wouldn't put more than a taste because I think that Faze will win.
yeah.
But is there a world where I could see Ultra getting just fucking amped up and playing for the home crowd? Yes, of course. And by the way, this isn't last year's Faze where it doesn't matter who's fucking playing them, where they are.
Yeah.
It's just not the same team. They in this split alone, they've lost to Minnesota and OpTic. Now, look, they can't beat OpTic ever, so like that's just a recurring theme. But the fact that they lost 0-3 to Minnesota, they have chinks in the armor.
Mhm.
And so could Ultra spring together a nice little tournament run here and win a big first match? Yeah. At 2.66, yes.
I like the 3-1.
Yeah, I have
I like
2.72.
3-1
I think I like
for
it.
Faze at 1.83. I do like the money line. I think that's a good one as well. I don't think this is where we see it. Faze has just been so consistent on LAN that it's just hard to see them imploding round one. Exactly.
I mean, they've been in the last two finals.
Yeah.
Like, that's what people
They just
are
haven't
forgetting.
won. They just haven't won it.
They show up when the major comes.
To the finals, both lands. I don't think they've reached the finals this time. But I don't think it's a round one loss.
It would be irresponsible for me not to say, like, 2.72 on Ultra to win this is very good odds. Like, let's be clear.
They're peaking at the right time also.
Part of me wants to also...
Ultra's coming online at the right time.
I would not say that. But, Scoop, I think the bigger point is exactly what you're saying. If you really want to bet on this match, take the money line for Ultra. But ultimately, I would probably stay away from this because I don't... Yeah, I agree.
I'm staying away from it. I just don't, like... It's not, it doesn't feel like Faze's major, and for that reason, it is Faze's major. And that's kind of a tough thing to deal with. The other match here, OpTic Texas, Florida Mutineers. Little throw by the Thieves to get Florida into this match against Texas in the 2 seed. OpTic Texas, 1.17 odds. The team they've had trouble beating
and
this year.
That's why you have the color
Florida
behind you, because you're a Mutineers
3.90 odds.
Mutineers fan. That's why you have
I have another color on this.
It's right there for you. It's the Mutineers green. And it's the Mutineers green, Scoot. Don't find it. And that's why I actually think this is where the Mutineers are going to win. I think 3.9 odds are phenomenal. I think OpTic has been overrated for a while now. They haven't been able to win in ages. They actually haven't performed at majors. So this is the time where we see the Mutineers flip the script and really, take over that green branding.
I need to remind you of something, and it's that Florida just won.
No,
you can count it if you want
That's not a real one. They were trying to lose, and
okay, but
actually was
it's on the fucking books. It's on the
Florida
books.
was trying to lose, and therefore they played themselves and they won. So therefore, they're now going to play themselves
Thieves
again.
just tried to lose harder.
And
I have bad news for you, Nikki.
You agree?
No. Florida already played OpTic this little group stage split and lost 0-3.
Yeah.
And I personally...
What do you mean not showing up at majors, too?
Yeah, I don't see any way... I don't see any way that this goes any other way. I see a -2.5 for OpTic at 2.56.
Yeah. Has OpTic even
I'm staying
reached
away
a
from
final?
this because I do think that Florida...
Have they reached a final since the first major?
There's been 2 majors.
Have they reached a final since then?
Don't cite the Pro-Am Classic here, all right? They were playing with Jordan General.
All right.
They had 2 ARs. Listen, fuck it. OpTic's taking it all. They're taking the title. OpTic Faze final. It's the final that nobody wants to see, but everybody wants to see at the same time. The other team from Underwater playing this weekend, or starting off our weekend, Seattle Surge playing the New York Subliners. I think we were all in agreement earlier that Subliners looks very consistent, whereas Surge will betray you, like that girl who stood you up the one time, somewhere in Chicago. I don't know where that came from, but
single tear. Is this just like one glistening tear rolling down his cheek?
He was like, I thought we had a great time the first time.
But listen,
Becky.
-1.5. New York Subliners 2.14. You can lock that in on my end.
Like that.
That's what I'm taking.
That's the only bet I would touch. Everything.
I have 2.21, and I'm definitely taking it.
Yeah.
They're just Surge continues to be so reliant on Pred
their whole thing
all the time.
It's their whole thing, but it's working recently.
Relying on
so
it.
I'm a little bit scared.
Yeah, but you get some fucking Hydra to the face now, so deal with that, because he's also probably the best submachine gun player in the league. Actually, no, Shotzzy definitely is. Shotzzy started off a game recently, 29.
I thought that was Octane.
It was the most
It's
disgusting.
the same stat.
No, Octane
same
started
stat.
29. He started 24 and 9. That's what it was on Gavutsu. But Shotzzy did start a game 29 and 3. So He's easily the best in the game right now, most impact as well. But I mean, Hydra's right there alongside with him.
Hydra's like,
he does so
just
much
performing at a different level.
Yeah, I just don't think like Seattle's overcoming this. All right,
let's
break it down though. And before we read this out, who's winning it all?
ROKKR.
The early prediction. I mean, what do we need to see? Who's taking it home? ROKKR from Nikki. All right, that's. I've
been so impressed by their play.
Chris?
They've beaten good teams, and I just feel like they're coming online at the right time. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a long-term success. I think it's just going to be we're playing well, everything is vibing, and they're going to win this major, and then they'll kind of drift off. They'll probably come fourth or something in champs, but yeah, fourth, fifth. But I think they win this.
Attach always gets his slice of the pie. Don't forget it.
If I'm playing this forward, you're going to get ROKKR demolishing the Thieves, who are going to play a very exciting Faze Ultra winner, whoever wins that. I do think you will get a ROKKR win.
Yeah.
So then you've got OpTic Texas beating the Mutineers by an amazing margin. I think you're going to get the Subliners beating the Surge.
Yep.
So then you're going to get a nice little Subliners OpTic rematch. And we are all here for that. I think
it's going to be toxic on stage.
Subliners can back it up. And I think that this could be a fun match that allows Subliners to play ROKKR in the quote-unquote semifinals. And I like to see my beloved Subliners going through the final and winning. And so I think the problem would be Brooklyn. The problem and
every time you will be reminded every time.
They're actually
it's not the city.
New York. It's a state. It's not a city. Subliners, and so therefore Brooklyn's part of that state. Point being, the only issue would be is if OpTic Texas thing goes on a losers bracket run, meets Subliners back in the final. It's impossible to beat the same team twice, and so that would be my biggest concern.
That was the main tenet of Plato's The Cave metaphor.
It was.
God, why do we always get into philosophy somehow on this podcast? It always comes back to it. I'm
there's
somewhere
also Thomas,
stuck.
There's also Thomas
my first pick here is
borrowed from each other.
My first pick here, it feels like has to be Atlanta Faze. I just think that they're gonna eventually win a major at some point. Hopefully, it's gonna be champs.
It'll be champs.
I don't know what they're gonna win.
So you think they're gonna win this one?
They're not even making the final.
No, I think
you can't see.
LA Thieves is winning this major, baby.
No way.
It's time. Oh, baby, the heater begins.
No way.
Let's fucking go.
You think LA Thieves are going to win?
The whole they went 40% win rate. Somehow barely made the winners bracket because
there's a real chance they don't make champs.
Real chance.
Yeah, there's a chance they don't make champs, but let me tell you what, they're about to win this fucking major, and you can sign, seal, and deliver that. We'll talk next week when we have our results. I mean, I believe that Faze is probably going to win it. I think the odds are definitely better on that end, but Thieves on a ripper. I think they could be the best team in the league at times. So who knows what Thieves are going to get at the end of the day. But with that being said, thank you all for joining us for another episode of the Money Hill, presented, of course, by the Best3 Network. If you want to join the conversation, go follow us on Twitter at Bo3 Network and join our Discord, which is in our Twitter bio. We're always talking shit there, hanging out, congratulating our lovely fans on being at the major. Shout out El Rate Helada, which is a reference from Batman, and I really appreciate it. Other than that, go also listen to our sister podcast, The Gold Advantage, on League of Legends, if you're interested in League of Legends betting at all. With that being said, I bid you adieu. Also, like, subscribe, hit that fucking bell on YouTube. You know the vibes. And now it's time to say goodbye. So we'll see you next week.
Toodaloo.
Peace out.
Subliners winning it all.